Plaintiff Dora Pope married the defendant when she was 17, but they divorced after she found naked pictures of him with another man. Dora's suing her ex-husband for the balance due on a home equity loan. Defendant David Pope says Dora is the one who cheated on him during their marriage with at least 5 other men. David's countersuing for emotional distress and car damages.
Start with you.
I met David when I was 17. He was 28.
Wow. Were you living at home with your parents?
No, with my sister.
Okay.
We got married 3 months later.
3 months after you met?
3 months after I met him.
Okay.
By 2003, we had 2 children together. There was a lot of cheating, domestic violence, drug
By
use.
whom?
By Mr. Pope.
Not true. It's from her, Your Honor.
He would always accuse me of cheating. He would always, which I never did. One day I came home from work because I used to work nights, but I came home to find his emails open, and there was pictures.
His mouth open.
Emails.
Oh, his emails open.
No, not his mouth. He wasn't home. Sorry.
Go ahead.
He wasn't home at that time.
No, I was interpreting that as probably slang for talking back or making fun or.
No.
All right. Now I'm not saying what these nasty folks in the audience are thinking. Go ahead. Or the nasty bailiff, right?
I found pictures of him with, it's just hard for me to talk about it, of him with some other guy, naked pictures.
She's lying, Your Honor.
Naked pictures.
Where are the pictures at?
Go ahead.
And then emails of.
Did you all get divorced shortly thereafter?
That was 3 years later, I think.
All right. Let me hear from you. Any background on the divorce before we get to the home equity loan she's suing for?
Well, like she said, in 2003, we had 2 kids together by then. And what I had found is every day, every night, I was home alone taking care of the kids, wondering where my wife was. And,
where was she?
Well, she was out screwing around, Your Honor.
How did you find that?
Well, a family member of hers, someone she related to her, told me about 5 different guys that she was seeing.
That's not true,
Wow.
Your Honor.
True.
5
It's true, yeah,
different.
5. They gave me names and cities where they lived, and it all, you know, when the person told me, it's like, it's like, darn, I'm stupid for believing her lies, because when they told me and all the details, it just made so much sense.
Where
It was
would
like,
she tell you she'd be every night?
Oh, working overtime, or just, she's a very good liar, Your Honor. She's the best I've ever seen in my life. She's the best liar I have ever seen in my entire life, and I've seen some good ones. Anyways.
What did you do? How did you respond to that?
How did I respond to that?
Discovering that she had 5 men on the side.
I waited for her to get home that night, and then I verbally confronted her with it. I was mad. I was upset of 5 years of lies.
What did she say?
She didn't say anything to me. She tapped her foot and she was mad at the person in the family who was in the house that night for telling me what was going on, and she really kept a tight lip, and it was me doing all the talking, because it was 5 years.
So after that, it never came up again?
No, Your Honor. That same night I was confronting her. Before she just stormed off in the restroom, and next thing I know, the police are knocking on my door and arresting me and as soon as the police knocked on the door, she ran out of the restroom with a bleeding lip and said I had hit her, which was not true. I did not hit her. She hit herself and called the cops and had me arrested, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, that is not true.
Okay.
He did hit me. He was arrested.
Was he convicted of hitting you?
No, we talked. He convinced me to drop the charges.
Okay.
I dropped the charges, and we got back together.
Okay.
And about the cheating, that is not true. I was working full-time and going to school full-time.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I knew that,
You
but
said she's going every
there were
night.
some nights she wouldn't come home at all, Your Honor.
Is that
That
true?
is not true.
Yes,
That
it
is not true.
Yes, it is.
There was an occasion that I came home. That was in 2009. There was a guy sleeping on my bed. And I did not want to confront him because he was using drugs. That was in another
guy that you suspect he was getting together with. Let's get to the loan you're suing him about.
2007, we got a loan together. We decided to go get a loan to fix the house and to get a cosmetic surgery. which after the divorce, he agreed to pay for half.
What did the divorce decree say?
It doesn't say that because...
it doesn't say that?
No, it
What
doesn't say
does it
anything.
say?
It doesn't say anything about the loan because...
Does it say anything about a home?
About a home? I signed him over everything we had together. I gave him everything we had together. And then
Who has the decree?
I have a copy of the decree, Your Honor. And I've highlighted in this page right here.
You can't make a side agreement once a judge has issued a decree. You have to go by the divorce decree. Sir, what do you have to say regarding this?
Well, we got back together. I was in love with this woman, believe it or not. And she was the one that initiated getting back together, Your Honor. And
Talk about the home equity loan, sir.
The home equity loan,
Yes.
she got breast implants and liposuction done with that.
All right, what did the judge say, and why don't you think you should abide by the judge's ruling regarding the home?
We had a paralegal write that up. And
because this says the wife has transferred to husband as his sole and separate property, therefore relinquishing all of her rights. She has no rights. She has no interest in the residence. And husband will pay and hold wife free and harmless from this liability. So, did you take the house? Did you take the house?
Yeah, I have the house. Yes,
All
I did.
right.
Yes, I
And
did.
then the second part of this says, you will pay and hold her harmless for any debts or any liabilities regarding this property. I don't know what's so hard for you all to understand about that. Now, your counterclaim for emotional distress and car damages, how does she owe for that?
In 2008, I had hired a PI because the same patterns that had happened before of her always being gone and never there and lying to me about it, and me being in love with her, wanted to believe her. He found pictures of...
See it, please.
He wrote a report and then had those pictures.
Pictures of what?
Pictures of her and her boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Your Honor.
That's true,
He
Your
got
Honor.
those pictures out of my email.
I know, but who is it?
It's my boyfriend now. He emailed me those.
And he wasn't then?
No,
Wasn't
he
your
had
boyfriend
already, He had
then?
already filed for divorce.
Okay. Let me allow him to get to his emotional distress and car damages. Tell me how she owes you for that.
Well, the emotional distress just comes from 10 years of her lying and conniving and me having to do all this stuff.
Can't grant you a judgment for your wife cheating. Now, car damages.
On March 14th of this year, she called me wanting $20 for some co-payment on a medical thing, and I told her, hey, I paid
some cocaine.
Co-payment.
Co-payment.
No one calls me for co-payment.
All right, go ahead.
She wanted a $20 co-payment, and I had already paid $200-300 in co-payments that she had never reimbursed me for.
Toward what?
For my kids' medical expenses.
All right, how do we get to the car damage?
And then she got mad because I wasn't going to give it to her, and then she wanted the dog back that she gave my son, and I told her, no, you can't have her dog back. And she got real mad and started cussing at me, so I hung up. And then she cussed at me through 3 or 4 text messages. I just didn't deal with it, never responded to her. And that night I had sugar and water in my gas tank and my girlfriend's gas tank. And I didn't get another text message from this lady.
She said you had sugar in your tank. No, I'm just saying. Just having fun with you, having a little fun. You know,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what we do. So, how did you determine it was her? You saw her? Or
I have no other enemies, and I've never had anyone ever put sugar and water in my gas tank, and she was the maddest I had seen her in 2 years at me since the divorce. The only physical evidence, Your Honor, I have the receipts, of course, the police report, and I have my phone bills that show the night that happened, she stopped texting me for 2 weeks, whereas the last 2 years, it's never gone 2 days.
And
where
did
she
the
hasn't.
police look into it?
They just filled out a report.
Did you have anyone witness it and perhaps brought a statement with you today?
That saw her doing it? No, sir. I just know in my brain she did. There's no doubt.
You're kind of speculating. Unfortunately, speculation isn't enough.
My kids have told me things, Your Honor.
Told
I
you
did not
things
do
like
anything.
what?
Like my son told her that we know you
Your son
put sugar
told
and
her
water.
what?
Son told her that she did it to my car, and my daughter told me that she
What
rolled
was
her
her
eyes and
response?
goes, "Oh, it wasn't me."
All right.
Then sorry,
That's not enough, sir, for you to win a judgment. It's speculation. However, unfortunately, sir, the order says that you take the house but you also pay. So she wins the judgment on the home equity loan, $4,580, and I must dismiss your counterclaim for emotional distress and car damages. Once again, you're only speculating. You don't have any real concrete evidence. Judgment for the plaintiff, counterclaim dismissed. Have a good day.
You got that from my email. You broke into my email.
You're a
and
liar.
You know you're
the
a
one
liar
that's a
too.
thief, liar,
You know that-
cheater, and everything else.
Really?
Yeah, really, and you know
At
this.
least I don't smoke weed and use drugs, smoke weed in front of our kids, and grow weed inside of the
One of our
house.
kids, and I have a doctor's order.